Hello and welcome back to another episode of ravisinghblog.in. This is Ravi Singh, and this will be a quick video where I will be explaining how to solve use cases based or you can also say scenario based question for DP-600 Microsoft Fabric Engineer certification. So now this is a very tricky question. You will have multiple choice question, single choice question, maybe fill in the blanks matching question, but this one is a little different because this is actual scenario based or a practical question where you will be asked to select a correct answer based on a certain scenario. That scenario could be one paragraph, two paragraph, or quite a long set of requirement design. All those requirement will be given, and based on that there will be a question that uh, it may not be exactly, but it may ask like which will be the best solution for this scenario. So to answer this question you need to have some of the steps you need to follow, and also you need to understand every concept in Microsoft Fabric and where it is used, what are the best practices. So in this video my aim is to give you the tips and how to solve these questions. So we'll go one by one on the slide, and then I will be showing you a sample case based question uh, as an example, and then how to solve that. But before that, do not forget to subscribe my channel, and remember I have created a Udemy practice set of question, three set of question plus one set for the case based question on Udemy. So the link is given in the description, video description. Please go ahead and subscribe to that if you are preparing for DP-600 and want to have a practice test. So this is very useful, so I will highly recommend to try that. Okay, so coming back to the slides, so first you need to understand what are the use case based question. So these questions are real world scenario where they will be there will be a company, they will tell you what kind of data they are looking for, what kind of dashboard or what kind of data ingestion process they have, and then they will give you a detail about what is the requirement, what is the design, what are the things you need to consider, and then you need to answer the question. So remember, you need to have a thorough knowledge of Microsoft Fabric, and to answer this question, okay, you need to have all the exercise done in the Microsoft Learning. So make sure you do as much as hands-on on exercise. Just don't rely on the theoretical knowledge. You have to have be aware about how to create a lake house, how to import the data. You should have actually done that process, then it will be easier. Before that, also remember that use case questions have certain limitation or certain restriction in the actual exam. How it is once you go into the use case based question, you cannot return back to the other part of the question. So you need to plan it well ahead. You need to know how much time you can devote. So accordingly, select that time. Okay, don't have very less time for case based, or you also have to remember you should not jump on this very quickly, because you cannot go back and review the other question. Once you land in case based, that's it, you have to answer that and you cannot return back. So divide the time accordingly and make sure you have enough time on case based, because the questions are very long. You have to read a lot and then try to answer it. Okay, so first thing first, try to understand the basic concept, plus understand and exercise lot of practical question. If you are not actively working on a project which has Microsoft Fabric, then make sure you have done all the exercise in the Microsoft Learning platform. Now the step one is to solve this use case question is analyze the problem. Don't try to read the question directly, just try to understand the initial scenario. Okay, what are the components that for that the question is being asked. For example, what is the data source from where the data is coming in? It could be a CSV, it could be a API, it could be something else, right? So identify the data source. Then what are the technology you will be needing for that? For example, you may need Power BI, you may need Synapse, you may need Lakehouse, you may need to provide the role based on workspaces. So what are the technologies you are going to need for that solution? Then what are the objective? Now if you see the question, I am going to show you a sample question also. They will be giving a standard practice that, for example, the access should be minimal, okay, and then the security should be as per the compliance. So remember to understand these standard which is given in the question. There could be two correct answer, okay, but one is not fitting into the security parameter, or one may not be fitting into the minimal role restriction. So try to formulate the answer based on what are the objectives asked in the question, okay. Now I will show you shortly an example also, but before that we'll go through all these steps. Now what is the step 2? Step 2 is you need to relate the scenarios of Microsoft Fabric, okay. So if you have completed the DP-600 Fabric lesson from the Microsoft learning, you must have understood the data ingestion process, data flow, you know how to ingest a large amount of data, what data ingestion process will be quicker, okay, if not how to optimize the performance, okay. So you need to focus on managing data pipeline, security and optimization. As I said in the last slide, you need to follow the best practices, and I'm also going to show you some example on the best practices. So make sure before you appear for the exam, you have all the best practices handy and you are aware about that, okay. Let's go to the next step. Now once you understood, you have read the complete scenario, you understood what are the requirement, design and everything, then you try to jump on the formulation of the solution. Now you start thinking what will be the best answer for this scenario, what will be the efficient tool. See, there are two things. There could be one tool which is correct and there is another tool which is efficient. In cloud, always remember two things: security and efficiency. Cloud, there could be n number of solution, but we have to find which is efficient and less expensive, okay, because you may choose one solution which takes more time and then consume more compute power, and at the end it is costly. So that will not be the correct answer. So efficient means it will take less time, more secure, but the cost is less, okay. So there could be various scenario where you will be asked question on visualization from Power BI or Synapse for the how the data is stored or ingested. So remember these point, and I will be taking one example for the table where we need a refresh. So I will be showing you that example. So remember the steps: ingestion, transformation and then visualization. Ingestion is your data source. Transformation is where you will be using Microsoft Fabric, PySpark to do some manipulation with the data, and then you will get the ultimately end data which can be used by the Power BI to create the visualization. The next step is validate. Now once you think this is the solution, just think of other parameter associated with that. For example, is this solution is secure? Is this solution is the optimized and less expensive? Is this solution can be scalable? There could be some scenario where you may be asked, can we scale this solution? Now let's say this may work for 200 rows, but will it work for 1 million rows? Is this the efficient solution? If not, you need to change the solution, okay. So always remember the data ingestion part and the best practices for data ingestion. You should know which solution is better for short data, which solution is better for the large set of data, okay. So spend some time on that. Now We went into the optimization. Let's see the last one, which is the key takeaways. So, as I said, you need to break down and analyze the solution. Do not jump on the question. Many a times, to save the time, what we do is we do not read the complete paragraph and try to see what is the question. You may miss important point. So break down the question into a smaller part, read that thoroughly, and then try to analyze the scenario. Then whatever you read in your DP-600 lesson from the Microsoft Learning, make sure you try to relate that. Every question for the case based, it may be related to your imaginary company, is related to the Microsoft Fabric concept. So try to relate what you are reading. Then choose the right Microsoft Fabric tool. Okay, this is very important. There could be some scenario where, for example, I'm going to show you the in the next few minutes. I'm going to show you actual case based question, but in Fabric there are different ways to import the data, and you will be asked which one is the efficient one. Okay, there could be all four could be the right, but you need to find the optimized solution for that. So focus on that and try to point it out. Always think about scalability, security, and optimization. I am trying to underline this word. There could be more than one correct answer. You need to find which one is suitable for your scenario. Okay, there could be n number of scenario and n number of answer. You need to find the closest answer of your problem. So let's jump on an actual case and then try to understand how to solve it. Okay, so I have taken a sample case study here. Now look at that. So this is how normally your question will look like. Remember, once you start your case based question, you cannot return back to the other question, which is a multiple choice question, and there is a good chance that 20 to 30% of the question will be case based. So you need to score good marks in this so that your percentage is closest to the passing mark. So you need to allocate some time separately for that, and as it says in the top, you need to read the case study. You cannot return back to this section. Okay, and then start understanding the question. Okay, so they have given a imaginary company. As I said, Contosco is a US based health supplement company. Now from here you will slowly start getting what is the scenario. So for here example has, it has two division, sales and research. Okay, sales division contain two departments, online sale and retail sale. Now you have some idea about what we are trying to do. Research division assign internally developed product line to individual team for research and analysis. So here the scenario says that you have two divisions, sales and research. Sales deals with the two department, online and retail sale, and research division, what they do is they research on the internally developed product and try to find whether it is useful or not. Now existing environment, see, slowly they are revealing all the important details. So what are the environment in that? You have a tenant, Contosco, and Contoso, and then you have Microsoft Intra, which is the way which is used to log into this tenant, and it contains two groups, research review group and research review group 1 and 2. So remember, these are very important point and you should read it. You should spend some time understanding the question. Now data environment. So now they will explain what are the tools inside Fabric they are going to use. So here they are using Microsoft Power BI premium capacity. Remember one more thing, as I told you in the slide, you need to remember all important details. For example, what is the difference between a Power BI premium capacity and normal Power BI capacity? Why they are using premium? What is this? What is the advantage with the premium? So these question are also can be related with the concept. So make sure you know total in and out for every product or tool in the Microsoft Fabric. Then they say the semantic model of the online sale department include a fact table, okay, order that use the import. So remember again, fact and dimension table should be very clear to you. If you have not done exercise, then try to do some exercise from Microsoft Learning. Understand what is fact and dimension table. Okay, how they are created, how they are related, what kind of data exist in those table. Now, this is in the system of origin, the order ID value represent the sequence of which order are created. Now you got the idea. Order table contains the order ID which shows what are the orders which came into the system. Okay, and it represents the sequence in each order created. So remember, the order ID may be kept on increasing. For example, at this point one order came, order number 1. After 5 minutes a new order came, order number 2. So this type of sequence is created in the order table. The research department uses an on-premises third-party data warehousing product. Fabric is enabled for this company. So the research department maybe uses on-premises third-party data warehousing. So they are not using Fabric, they may be using something else, but Fabric is enabled for this company. Now you have Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 storage account. Okay, name is storage 1, contain research division for a product line 1. The data is in delta format. Now again they are saying delta format. So you should be aware what is delta format, why it is used, what is the advantage with the delta format, what is the disadvantage of delta format. So these kind of concepts you should be aware. Okay, because in the coming paragraph you may see question based on that. So always remember, when you start learning Microsoft Fabric, you should be aware not only about the definition of that, but total in and out of that concept. Now a data lake storage Gen 2 storage, account name is storage 2. So now they have storage 1, storage 2 for different kind of data. It contains the research data. The first one contains the product line 1, and this contains the product line 2. The data is in a CSV format. Okay, so these type of things you have to make a note. Now they are talking about the requirement. What we have seen till now is the data environment. Now they are talking about the requirement. Now they are slowly disclosing what kind of question may come. So what is the requirement? What is the requirement from the client? They are saying the company plans to make the following changes: enable support for the Fabric in Power BI premium capacity for the sales division. Make all the data of the sales division and research division available in the Fabric. So they want to bring those data in the Fabric for the research and the sales. Now for the research, they have created 2 Fabric workspaces, product line 1 and product line 2. Now this is very important. Every concept, as I told you, for example workspaces, lakehouse, storage, you should know in and out of that concept. For example, what is workspace? For example, here in Fabric workspace, why it is created, why we need to create different workspaces, in what scenario we create different workspaces. So you should know even the roles with the workspaces. So you should know in and out for everything related with that concept. To try to find those answer. Okay. Now they are saying in product line 1 workspace, create a lakehouse named lakehouse 1. In lakehouse 1, create a shortcut to storage, name research product. Now again a new concept came, shortcut. So what are the shortcuts, why it is used, where it is used, when it is created. So again remember all these answers. Now once the requirement is done, they are coming back to data analytics requirement, which is the Power BI. So they are saying this company identify the following data analytics requirement. All the workspaces for the sales division and research division must support all Fabric experience. Fine. The research division workspace must dedicated on-demand capacity that has per minute billing. Okay. So this dedicated on-demand capacity, you should be aware what is this and how the cost is incurred on this kind of computing power. The research division workspace must be grouped together logically to support one lake data hub, filtering based on the department name. Okay, this will look very clear. For the research division workspace, the member of the research reviewer group 1 must be able to read the lakehouse and warehouse data and shortcut by using SQL endpoint. So you all know what is SQL endpoint. We can use a API to fetch the data from the warehouse and lakehouse. So and the shortcut. So these concepts should be very clear to you. Now for the research division workspace, the member of the research reviewer group 2 must be able to read Lakehouse data by using Lakehouse Explorer. How to read data using Lakehouse Explorer, you should be aware. Now slowly you see how important it is to read in and out of all the concept, because the question can come from any point, any angle. So make sure if you have to review your lesson, go back to Microsoft Learning and try to read the smaller detail carefully. Okay, all the semantic models and report for the research division must use version control that support branching. So we use Git. Now remember where what code repository we are using for my Fabric, what kind of version control we are using that support branching. And branching is, of course, creating new branch, merge branch, those kind of concept. Now the last part, they are saying data preparation requirement, how the data should be prepared. So you see they are giving a very detailed requirement, and all this will take time to understand. Okay, so make sure you have enough time, and there could be at least if I'm not wrong, there could be 4 or 5 case based question. There could be multiple question in a case based. There could be one case and maybe 2 or 3 question based on that case. So you need to have time to read and understand that. Okay, now in the data preparation, they are saying the organization identifies the following data preparation. The research division data for the product line 1 must be retrieved from Lakehouse 1 by using Fabric notebook. Again, they are introducing a concept in Fabric called notebooks. So now your whatever you read in your Microsoft Learning is coming into the use. What is notebook, where it is used, why it is created. Okay, those kind of question. All the research division in the Lakehouse must be presented as managed table. Okay, what is managed table? Okay, how to access that in Lakehouse Explorer. So these kind of question should come into your mind. Okay, semantic model. Now you must have read about semantic model in requirement. If not, go back and read that. So the organization identifies the following requirement for implementing and managing semantic model. The number of rows added to the order table during refresh must be minimized. See, so they are talking about incremental load. They are not talking the full load all the time. So they don't want to insert the rows all the time. Okay, it should be minimized. So start thinking now, what is the best solution for this? The semantic model in the research division workspace must use direct lake mode. Okay, what is direct lake mode? Now these are the general requirement. Now we are closer to the question. Now general requirement is your guideline or the best practice. Read this very carefully. Now what are the general requirement? Okay, follow the principle of least privilege. So what is least privilege? The role which is given to the user should be the minimal. For example, if there is a read mode, they should get only read access. They should not get read and write. You may need to create a new group which is read only. Okay, do not try to add the user in the existing role which may have access for read and write. So remember that. Minimize implementation and maintenance effort when possible. Okay, you need to refresh the order table of the online sales department. The solution must meet the semantic model requirement. Now what is the semantic model requirement? The number of rows added to the order table during refresh must be minimized. So this is the the core line of this case. Okay, so now they are asking what should you include in the solution. So you need to add rows in the online sales table, but based on the semantic table requirement, the number of rows added to the order table should be minimized. Now they have given all the 4 options. Let's check that. Now the first option they are saying is execute a stored procedure activity to retrieve the maximum value of order ID column in the destination lakehouse. So why they are saying maximum value of order ID? Because you will get only one order ID and that you have to insert. But is that stored procedure is the good option? Now the next they are saying again stored procedure, but this time you have to retrieve the minimum value. But in the requirement on the top we have read that it will be in the incremental basis. So first time order number 1, next time order number 2. So now you should think about that the minimum value should not be used. So minimum value is out of the answer. So if you see minimum here, these two are definitely out. So these two are wrong answer. So now you should choose the maximum value either from A or D. Now you know, now you are closer to the answer. You have to select one, but which one, A or D? Now here in the requirement they said minimize implementation and maintenance effort when possible. So you have to minimize the effort to maintain the code. So which one is the minimal? Stored procedure or data flow? Of course data flow. Data flow, you know, is used for the used like a ETL on the cloud based platform, which is used to ingest which is used to, you know, update the data, and we are using Power Query here in the data flow. So the correct answer will be D, because we already know the maximum value of order ID we need to retrieve, so that the insertion in the table will be the minimal, and data flow is the operation or is the answer where we have to we need minimum maintenance. So that's how you have to choose the answer. So you see how we read the problem, we understand the requirement, and then we selected the answer. Okay. Now, as I said in my initial when I was discussing the slide, that I will show you the some of the best practices. So here I would like to show you some of the best practices. So these are only some of the sample you should be aware. Now you need to go back and for the every aspect, for example security, workspaces, capacity, lifecycle management, data ingestion, what are the best practices? Let me show you some example. For example, data ingestion. Now you can use copy, which is TSQL data pipelines, data flow, or cross warehouse ingestion to ingest data in the warehouse. This is the best practices. There are other ways, but this is a efficient way to ingest large amount of data. Okay. So another one is the security. Use strong access control to authenticate and authorize user. You can use intra ID and conditional access policy. So intra ID is the best way to provide security. You can also assign workspaces role to user and group. So always remember, you should not be giving individual access to the workspaces. You can create a group and then you can give the access, and try to minimize the access. Like for example, a person may need just to view the data, so don't give them the right access to, you know, modify the workspace or, you know, do some other operation, just the read access. So these kind of best practices you should understand. If you have not created notes, then go back and create all the notes for the best practices, because case based question will always focus on the best practices. There could be, as I said earlier, more than one correct answer. You have to choose which is the efficient, less expensive, and as per the best practice of the solution. So here this is the short video I've created to, you know, get you aware about how to solve a case based question. I hope it is useful, and in the next video I will be coming up with the more fabric concept and the discussion which can help you to, you know, understand the Microsoft Fabric concept, and it will also help you with the DP-600 Fabric Analytics certification. So please follow my channel, and if you are interested for the DP-600 practice test, please follow my Udemy course, and it has a wonderful 3 set of practice plus 1 set of case based question, which will be very useful for your actual, you know, certification. So again, thank you very much for joining, and please do not forget to subscribe my channel and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.